All right. Okay, so we think we got it now. How's that? Check for audio mic. We got room sound. Think we're doing it. Now it sounds okay. Signal is super hot. All right, let me see if we can adjust that. Is one hotter than the other? Is the guitar clipping, or is the one of them hotter than the other? We looking good? Trying to get this thing right. All right. I don't know what's down. Which one needs to come down? The computer or the mic or the guitar? Is the guitar too hot? The guitar is clipping, you say? Okay. Let's bring that down. See what we got. What about now? How's this? Is we doing better? Is the guitar clipping now? Guitar clipping? I'm adjusting some things. The guitar is still clipping, Jay. All right. Bring that down. I can't really do much about that, honestly. Can't do it in the aux. If I move the guitar down over here, what does this do to you? Does that lower it? Does that lower the guitar's level for you guys? It looks low on the meters. I don't really know. It's still clipping a little bit. I wonder if I can do this right here. Let's see if I can adjust it here. Let's move that down to about right there. How's that? How about that? Still working it out here. Is that better for you guys? It's too low. It's too low now. Splitting the difference. Here we go. Let's go about right here. How about that? Man, all right. Okay. Just classic case here of technology sneaking in, rearing its ugly head. Yeah. Save your settings. The thing is I always save my settings, and they somehow change. Right. Cool. All right, cool. Just kind of messing around with that little arrangement. For those that don't know, I'm showing my my youth favoritism there to Alice in Chains. Probably my favorite band from that era. Thanks to Vidami. Got it right here, folks. If you want to know what it's all about and the reason we're getting to do this today and in the future. These guys. It's Vidami. It's a controller. I know that most people would expect me to say it's some kind of guitar pedal. Allows you to, expect me to say, oh, it's a delay, it's a distortion. No, actually, it's a controller, and they're in the chat if you have any questions about it. But this is how I would describe it. When you're playing guitar and you want to stop, maybe run a backing track or something like that, you have to stop playing, right? You want to slow something down, you have to stop playing and mess with your keyboard and mouse and whatnot. Well, this thing allows you to do all that stuff from the front, just being a pedal on the ground. Bluetooth to your iPad, iPhone, computer, whatever. I think it's killer. Y'all need to go check that thing out. I've wanted to do streaming more often, and a lot of times just sessions or touring or whatever. But these guys coming in and sponsoring the stream, making it happen. So in the chat, light it up, give it a round of applause here if you can for Vidami making this thing happen. And we'll I'm going to check out the chat here, see what else going on. Man, Sean Tubbs is in the house. Everyone say hey to Sean. He is terrifying. He's the most terrifying player ever. Can any of the models be used with DAWs or YouTube only? The new one can be used with your DAW. Yeah. And Matt says, here comes the rooster. Yeah. It's a fun little arrangement. And we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I got a dual camera here. Kind of, I always get questions about picking, the alternate picking and all that kind of stuff. So I figured it'd be kind of cool to have a dual camera set up and kind of test it out with that, Yeah, how's everybody doing? You guys having a good day? Good week? Yeah, thanks, Donald. I see Donald over there. It's complimenting the dual camera. Figured we'd get in here and hang out for a little bit today. Kind of make it a thing, Make it Tuesdays at 3 o'clock here in the Woodshed. Clark is saying Andy and Sean are my favorites. Dude, I can't carry Sean's case, man. That dude's incredible. I tell you this, Sean, I'm a better mandolin player than you. I know that for a fact. Now, don't go start practicing mandolin, but I do know I'm a better mandolin player than you. Chin cam. Yeah, we got, that's my neck beard cam. I think that's a popular term. I can kick it down a little bit, maybe get it, but I don't want to eliminate that shot of the guitar neck. That's why she's kind of happening there. Chin cam. Yeah. Nicholas is asking how I'm good. Oh, yeah, here's the jokes. Jay's saying Randy's in the house. We got to give away. Let me tell you a little story. So, for those that don't know, we do an amazing event once a year, and it's called the Woodshed Guitar Experience. And the first year we had Joe Bonamassa. Here's the deal. It's like a camp, like 3-day guitar camp. You guys probably seen this kind of thing around. And first year we had Joe Bonamassa, Brent Mason, Andy Timmons, Greg Koch, Mark Lettieri, myself. In my opinion, these are my favorite players on the planet. The next year we had Robin Ford, Laurie Basilio join us. So really killer stuff. So the second year, which was last year, happened in August. We had a giveaway, and Randy is in the chat. I'm not going to say his last name. It's there. Okay, Randy Heston. He's in the chat. Dude, that guy can win anything. I don't know how he does it, but he has got this gift of, lottery winnings, drawing names. Dude, he won him a brand new Mark Lettieri guitar. We were all laughing. So, like, when Jay's making jokes over here in the chat about, time for a giveaway, Randy's in the house. It's like, dude, watch out. I told him to just start buying lottery tickets. Make it a thing, man. So, so talking about Through the Tones, a couple of people were asking about the tones that were just happening. These are the one thing that's common in this rig is the Woodshed compressor. That thing just kind of, it makes everything sound better. It's like MSG for your tone or something. So let me just show you what's happening there. Here is just the BB preamp. I'm going to give you just the clean signal. This is no pedals. That's just the Bella. That's one thing that me and, Sean's saying, what's a mandolin? Is it some sort of toy? Yeah. Me and Sean both love the Bella, and I've got the Bella on right now. I like it kind of dark. I always like those Texas dark, thick, like EJ, Timmonsy things. Here's the BB preamp. Great little pedal. Love it. But now check it when I put the Woodshed compressor on it. It just adds like that juice. Here's without it. That's just the BB. Here's the Woodshed on it. Just makes that thing really, really great. Another pedal I'm really in love with is the Whomper Bell. Here comes it. Real gutty on the low end. I like that. And then the gearbox, which is my main drive. Nicholas, I'll do you one better. Tom's going to join us at Woodshed Camp this year. So Woodshed Guitar Experience, Tom's going to be there. So yeah, I have done many videos with Tom. Love him, great friend. It really, really... Yeah. So there you go. Man, let's just do something fun. This is something that I've not got polished, but to kind of show you what I'm talking about. Just kind of mess around here. I got this Vidami thing right here, so let's just turn it on. It's Bluetooth to the computer. I'm going to check, make sure she's seeing it. And it sees it. I'm going to open up a backing track here. I'm going to be way, way too aggressive. There's no way I'll be able to play this right now. I'm not warmed up, but just for example. So I got a little backing track. So set it down on the ground. Open up a backing track. Oh, that's not a backing track. That's Steve Morse doing it. Let's do backing track though. Let's see what we got. So you see how I can actually stop it with my foot. So again, let's go to, I'm going to open you guys back up. So I want to rewind that. I want to rewind that right there. Go back. Let's see. I can control it right here. Right. So let's go back to the beginning of the tune and let's just see if I can play it. So I can tell right there we got that level a little hot, and I'm just going to turn that down, and we're going to jump back in. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this is better. I'm using Vidami right there to start and stop things. Let's turn that level down just a smidge. Yeah. Let's run it back. Yeah, there we go. Back one more. Here we go. That's a better mix. So as you can see, that's kind of a loose example of how Vidami can help you kind of practice through some stuff. And if you're in a live stream and your levels are off, you don't got to let go of the guitar. There we go. Little too many notes. It absolutely is 100% too many notes. It's too many. Yeah. Randy Heston says it's too bad that I'm not warmed up. Yeah, man, if I was warmed up, we could get through that thing. Let's see. It's spelled T-U-M-E-N-I. T-U-M-E-N-I. Too many notes. We need to add a pedal cam. Chuck's saying pedal cam. Man, yeah. So here's the settings I was using. The lead tone on that was the gearbox, just straight up. Jacob's saying it's the first time he's ever seen someone play it live. Honestly, Jacob, I've never seen anyone play it live. I've seen a few versions on YouTube. Most of the time, though, when you see videos on YouTube, it's like you got a million different takes, and you can have punch-ins and punch-outs or whatever. That's just a monster tune to get through. Deacon saying Steve Moore's too easy for Andy. No, it's not. Steve is a monster. I can't. No. So there's the gearbox. That's both channels. What's that squeal? There it is. Why am I playing everything in F sharp today? You know what I mean? It's like Roosters in F sharp. Too many notes is there. I don't know. And the clean tone is a preset that I've got. That's just the Woodshed compressor and the Wampler Terraform. Adding some of that, Steve Morse, Sean Lane, Eric Johnson chorus modulation things. And if you notice in that section, I was not alternate picking at all. Here's the alternate picking. That's the alternate picking version. But what I've worked up, if you haven't seen the video, I did a video on this. It's using cross picking and hybrid playing to kind of give the hand a rest, because just nonstop alternate picking. And one of the things that I like is hearing that top note a lot. And I figured out if I plucked it, I could hear that like aggression in it, which is really, really cool, right? Especially on that part. It's almost like combining the chicken picking thing a little bit with the shred thing to kind of make your own sound, which is, I don't know. I love that. I love the way that sounds. It sounds really cool. It sounds neck pickup. Got a different sound. I don't know. I need to remember that. That's pretty, isn't it? Anyway, so one more time, here's that technique. You're using down, up, and we're just going to use the C sus chord. That. So C sus, cross pick the first three. So 1, 2, 3, down, up, down. And then use that middle finger for the last one. I don't know. I think it sounds killer. I don't know if I'm crazy or not. It's funny, like nail it during the song and then can't play it. I play it by myself. Stupid. I'm stupid. Let's see here. Let's check out the chat. See what's going on. We got 100 people in here. I'd love to see that. For those that aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Shameless plug, housekeeping, if you will. Sponsored by water today. Raw's saying it's too slow. Man, you play it. You play it, Raw. That thing's moving down the street. All right, cool. Let's just see what we got in chat. Yeah, Jim's saying thanks for checking out, Vidami. Yeah, great tune. Yeah, Michael's saying Too Many Notes is a great tune. Anthony, high fives to you, my friend. Never see me without a hat. It's my hat. There it is. My head, dude. Look at that thing. Just a mess. Just a mess. There's images out there. I don't always wear a hat, but for me, I just feel like my outfit is not complete without a hat. I don't know, man. Like I've worn a hat my whole life. I just feel like you gotta have a hat to have your complete outfit. I don't know. Let's see here. Will Barton is in the house. Great telly player. Everyone go check out Will's stuff. Fabulous player. Would I ever write an instructional book? Probably not, Russ. I would act as a consultant if somebody was writing one, or if somebody wanted to like pseudo write it with me. By that I mean write it for me and I just sit and play licks. I don't have the dedication to be on that kind of level of education. I still consider myself a player first. And I consider myself a player first, sideman second, like solo artist first, sideman second, YouTube content creator, whatever the hell that means, third, teacher fourth. Now, I don't mean that one is less important. That's just what I see as goals. My goals for me is like make original stuff that will be here when I'm dead. That is a big goal for me. Number 2 is work with players that I love and artists that I love. I'm blessed to work with, guys like Flats and Gary LeVox, like freakishly great singer, and the guys in that band, Jim Riley and Travis Toy and stuff, incredible. So I'm blessed to do that. And then, over the course of pandemic, exploring what it means to make this kind of digital stuff for you guys, and build a really great community on Patreon, which has been super fun. I don't know who all in the chat is a member over there on my Patreon, but it's really cool because it feels like, I don't know, it feels like you're going out for beers with your friends every time I log into Patreon. It's that kind of communal thing. Of course, there's videos about instructionals, but that's not what makes it special over there. There's tone tips and all the things that you want, but it's really about the community. That's what makes that Patreon so much fun. So yeah, I think that's really amazing. And then that ties in a little bit with being an instructional guy. Jacob is saying Eric Johnson solo from Washing Away. Ooh. Yeah. EJ, man. EJ, dude. Jacob is also saying Sean Lane's his dude. I love Sean, man. But I tell you, as for as freakishly great as Sean was with chops, I lean into Steve Morse and Eric Johnson's songwriting a lot more. They would just write those mega big hooks. Like, dude, I'm trying to call it from memory. That thing, like those melodies just stayed with me. I don't know. Maybe just me. Clean tones with a compressor. Yeah, right here they are. Let's turn that modulation off. Here's just clean. That kind of thing. Yeah. All right, cool. Still digging through the chat a little bit. So what we got going on. Johnny Chromatic is in the house. Love to see it, Johnny. I hope you're doing well. I don't know if you're down in Florida still or where you're living, but I hope you're doing well, man. Yeah, Deacon saying Sean's the Memphis Monster. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Jonathan Cordy. Be sure to go check out Jonathan Cordy's stuff. Fabulous player. Another amazing British guitar player. Yeah, man. Yeah. John Cordy, you got to get on this channel. Yeah, Dave Brandon says get on the channel. Yeah, love to have you, bro. Shoot me an Instagram message. Love to get you on the channel. Okay, here we go. Taylor, thank you for that 10 spot. I appreciate that, man. A little, I always like to say thanks for the beer money. Be nice to have later this evening. Marshall says, does not encourage alternate picking because he said it's bad for your wrist. What is your opinion? Well, my opinion is that's great for Marshall. But I'm going to alternate pick. I mean, it's like he's never played a Martin with 13s or in a bluegrass environment. Ain't no legato happening over there. Yeah. You get that banjo player to kick off Shucking the Corn at 290 BPM. Yeah, it ain't going to happen. Martin, you got to dig in. I love that tone too. It's like that Tony Rice thing, man. Chris Thiele, Sierra Hull, like, gosh, no, man. I don't buy into that. I think that's great for Marshall. Obviously, I think Marshall's a freak show musician, And if you're watching this, Marshall, I love your playing, but I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna buy into that. Everything's bad for you, you know. And when Marshall and I are 95 years old, if we live that long, we're not going to play like we do now. So it's important for me to get the sound out that I want to hear now while I'm able to play it, you know. And that's where that snap comes from. That's not happening any other way, you know. That sound just not going to happen without picking it. So... And two, with the grass thing. Like I like that snap, man. You know, and even the cluck thing. All that kind of stuff, you know what I mean. It's funny, like I don't like doing that chicken picking thing where the tremolo can float because I pick too hard. You can hear that little bit of vibrate or whatever. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, Marshall, freak player. Let's see what else we got. Got some things. Jordan says, do you pick all the notes in the intro? That's a great question. Let's take it just with this kind of tone. That's what he's talking about, right? That thing. So yeah, I mean, like that's the way you got to do it. That's without any dirt or compression or anything. That's what it sounds like. Here's like just the raw guitar. I don't know if you can hear that. Maybe pull this down right a little bit. You kind of hear a little bit of that. You know, that kind of thing. So you can hear that, like that snap on it. Yeah. All right, man. Jim Hoffman's in the house. Good to see stuff. Looking through some questions here. Yeah, Discord, man. Yeah, Discord's really awesome. We're talking about how we can expand that to the public without, you know, eliminating the cool vibe that we have with being a Patreon member. If you want to join the Discord, you have to be a Patreon member at the second tier to join up. Let's go. Manhattan by EJ is a killer for sure. I love Manhattan. I'll tell you one of my favorite performances is the first G3, and I don't know who's got that, maybe on DVD or something from back in the day, and it was Satriani and Vi and EJ, and EJ wore the big Princess Leia headphones, and 335 was happening in the jam. Pretty hot playing, man. Really, really pretty hot stuff. And he did Manhattan. It was killer. Yeah, it was really, really, really one of my favorite. That's one of the most influential like live performances for me I've ever seen. Like, just that's where I was like, who is this Eric Johnson guy, and why is he so freaking good, dude? One of my all-time favorites. For those that don't know, the song "Back to Austin" on the Junktown record. That is a tribute to EJ. Russell here's got a good question. Russell's asking about the action on my guitars, and I don't think I have freakishly low action. I don't have really high action. Let's see if we can just knock stuff. See what I mean? Like right there. It's low, but it's not like hang on. Let me not hold it. Not hold the action. It's low, but it's not like laying on the board. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? You can actually tell, look towards more the middle of the neck. It's not like freakishly low. I would consider my action low, but when I played like Petrucci's guitar, when I did the John Petrucci camp, and when I played Jason's guitar, Tosin's guitar, they have action that's like unbelievably low. Like I don't see how they play it. It felt like driving on ice. Like it was just, I play, a little, just, I don't know. Like it just was so low. And Matt Gregory, welcome. He says, sorry, I'm late to the party. Am I using an amp here? Yes, I am. I'm using the Sir Bella. A lot of Sir gear in my collection. I think that Bella is a magical amp. One of my favorites. Let's see what we got. Helicasters. Yeah, man. The chat is rolling. I love it, man. I love that you guys are kind of taking over. Yeah, man. Johnny Highland is, I've actually done a show with Johnny. He's great player. Let's see here. Chromatics lesson you just get. Oh, hey, Axe Addiction. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, chromatics are so useful. I was using them in that solo a lot on the Steve Morse tune. How to navigate through that. Let's take, like, what key? I don't know, like C. So like when you're kind of connecting some of that stuff, from a chromatic standpoint, you could take C dominant 7. Let me turn some of this delay off. I'm using the aux for the delay, by the way. Pretty cool. Turn some of that delay off. There we go. That's a great way to like start introducing that neutral third where it's not just minor and it's not just major. You can actually blend the two. Yeah, that's really in that solo a lot. Those kind of looks. Yeah, that kind of thing. I don't know what the exact measurements are, but I can tell you that it's pretty dang close to wherever Sir ships out their guitars. Whatever they ship them out always feels good to me. Like it feels great, and it a lot of the ease of playing is just in getting your touch to not be too light and not be too heavy. Like finding that balance of velocity, Yeah, so thoughts on the new Shiva. I actually don't have the new one. I have the old one sitting right over there in the corner. You could probably see it in the bottom cam. I see it. Where's it at? Boom. Yeah. Love that amp. Great amplifier. Yeah. Craziest southern picking shootout I've ever seen. Like, let's think of this for a minute. Man, Brent Mason's pretty nuts. Like, it's pretty nuts to watch him do his thing. Jake Workman and Trey are all his grass guys. They throw down. All that. I would definitely say something grass. Let's see here. Who's my Mount Rushmore? Okay, this is a great question. This is from Alan Chief over here on the right. He's saying, who is the Mount Rushmore? And let's be clear. My Mount Rushmore that I'm about to list is going to be rock players only. All right, so don't anybody get mad that I didn't list George Benson. Okay, this is Mount Rushmore of rock and roll. And I've never thought about this. Eddie Van Halen and Hendrix, no question. No question. The two biggest influential guitarists in rock and roll of all time. Like, that's not even thinking about it. Eddie and Hendrix. I would say on my Mount Rushmore for a rock player would be Dan Huff. So Eddie, Hendrix, Dan Huff. And some days it's going to be EJ and some days it's going to be Steve Morse. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Okay, 86 that. I'm thinking about this. We're thinking about Mount Rushmore. You have to factor in songwriting. So we're not just saying chops. You have to factor in songwriting. Eddie, Hendrix, Jimmy Page. Like, no question. Eddie, Hendrix, Jimmy Page, Billy Gibbons. There it is. Biggest rock influences right there. Those four. Eddie Van Halen, Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, Billy Gibbons. It has to be. It has to be. Because Gibbons laid the framework for the Texas thing that I love so much. Like, that's the framework. It's an archetype. You know what I mean? Like, it's not where we take it. This is maybe let's get philosophical for a second, because I love to do this thing. It's not where we take it. It's who chopped down the trees, right? Like, for example, it's one thing to see a guy like Sean Tubbs, Jimmy Herring do the bar thing so well. It's another thing like Jeff Beck was doing that before those guys were born. You know what I'm saying? Like Van Halen's another one. Like, it's easy to say Steve Vai, Guthrie, Govan, not Trap, but yeah, Trap's a monster too. But like, it's easy to say all this stuff, but the moment somebody puts a humbucker in a guitar that's not a Les Paul and it's shaped like a Strat, or the moment somebody uses high gain, like, there's no Steve Morse without Eddie Van Halen. Like, even though the style is different, the archetype is the same. Like, Eddie laid that framework, high gain, distortion from the amp. Like, that was like not a thing till Ed. So it's like, dude, there's no Mark Tremonti without Ed. You know what I mean? There's no Guthrie Govan without Ed. Like, it's just that framework. But yeah, that would be my Mount Rushmore. And I would say that Billy Gibbons and Jeff Beck would flip-flop. But it would definitely be Hendrix, Page, Ed. No question. Hendrix, Page, Ed. Yeah. Great question. Great question. So Brian's asking about slide work, and this is a fascinating subject for me because I'm a terrible slide player. And I'm good enough to kind of get by on some things, but I'm not good enough to like sit down with Ian Thornley and Joey Landreth and get the digging in it. But so what I ended up doing was like working up my own technique to like emulate that thing. Emulate that like slide tone, right? Like that. Like that kind of thing, right? Let's put a little more gas in the tank. That kind of thing, right? It's like fake slide. And the reason I don't use a bar for it, you know, like this kind of thing. The reason I don't use the bar a lot is because I play so many guitars that don't have like hardtail tailies, you know what I mean? So I need the thing to, you know, it needs to sound. That kind of thing. I think that's, a loose approximation, Brian. I love those kind of things. Do I know any Guthrie Govan licks? Man, I used to. What's the lick? Okay, I gotta get up here. Right? And then something like that. I don't remember the lick exactly, but something like that. Right, something like that. I remember I used to play a lot of that Guthrie stuff back in the day. I was obsessed. He was like my favorite player, man. He still is. He's still one of my favorite players. I don't think there's a such thing as a best guitar player on earth, but I will say if we're being invaded by aliens and our only hope as a civilization is a guitar shred off like Crossroads, my vote would be put Guthrie in. Like, just because he could do so many things. I've always been fascinated by guys that were versatile. I think that's always been really, really super important to me. Yo, somebody threw a 25 spot, man. I appreciate that. Whoever did that, man, I appreciate you. Seriously. Wow, man. Too kind. Really, really too kind. Here we go. I'm scrolling down. That's all I'm doing is just trying to scroll down. Here we go. It's Michael. There we go. Is it Michael? Yeah. Man, cheers. Cheers, Mike. I appreciate you, dude. Seriously. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know if Eddie made the first super strap, but it's like he's the first one that made it a thing. He may have not been the first guy to go like this, but he was the first guy to make it a thing and give us the, all that stuff, man. Like, nobody was doing that. Like that nobody was doing that thing. A lot of great names in here, dude. Yeah, of course, Vi, man. Of course, so great. Trucks is my favorite slide player ever. I don't know if there's ever a best because again, if you look at the archetype, you'd have to say Dwayne because Dwayne did it when nobody did it. That's always an interesting perspective when you think about who's really the best because you can always take something farther. You can always go farther in a path, whether it be technology or automotive industry, sports. Like I love the automotive industry, but like sports, obviously with race cars and what they're doing these days. I mean, look at the evolution of the Corvette. We're coming upon the 70-year birthday of the Corvette. Corvette today is obviously way more freakishly great than the original Corvette, but it wouldn't have been without the predecessor, right? That's how I view the guitar thing. It's like, sure, there are guys like Mateus has taken things farther than where Hendrix left them, but Hendrix, there's no Mateus without Hendrix, right? Like, does that make sense? I don't know. Yeah. So, amp settings, Paulo wants the amp settings. Very simple. Volume is loud. It's at like 11 o'clock. Trebles at noon. Bass is at 11 o'clock. Presence is at noon. There's nothing special about that amplifier as far as other than it just sounds good when you turn it on. I've actually gotten away from amps that have a lot of knobs. Like I used this Colossus on tour with flats, and it's a really great amp. I just had so many knobs. It's like option paralysis. Sometimes I want to kind of just plug in and it just sound great and not have to dig too much. I love Jimmy Herring so much, dude. He is really, really, really great, man. Again, guys, the reason we're hanging out is Vidami. They're the ones that are bringing the hang to us today, sponsoring the live from the Woodshed. Okay, let's see if I can get you guys to kind of lead me here. I want you guys to lead the conversation. What kind of playing and music stuff do you find fascinating right now? Like, what is it that you like in someone's playing, right? Like, it's cool that you guys are all here hanging out. Like, what is it that like you want me to talk about as far as music stuff goes? Like playing and instrument stuff, Yeah, the Marshall mini sax into the aux for sure. Yeah. Jimmy is from North Carolina. That's right. Great player. Yeah, people talking about like the Neo Soul thing. Yeah, that's really, really a thing right now for sure. Yeah. The Neo Soul thing, you really have to get your harmony in order as far as inside diatonic stuff. Looking at the guitar across the whole neck and not looking at it in boxes is really important, especially when you're thinking about that kind of thing. Like looking at how the E major scale, for instance, lives on one string, and you got the harmony that goes with it, right? Right. And you doing that on every string, taking one note and not looking at it like this. Oh yeah, I know E major. And then stopping and starting again, and then stopping and then starting again and stopping. And it's like you're always playing from like your favorite spots versus looking at how the like that's really important to be able to navigate the all of that kind of stuff that happens in the Neo Soul thing, right? I mean, yeah. I think the Neo Soul thing started long before the Candy Rat stuff. But, I mean, yeah. To me, it's more about, like, the Neo Soul thing was around with, like, gospel quartet playing. You know, I think that's the real origin of it. A lot of those licks been around with, like, Isaiah Sharkey, man. I'm not saying he's an innovator, but like where he's taking it, Eric Wall's taking it, like that's the roots of it to me, is like that gospel scene. Quartet guitar playing is where the soul thing came out of, right? I don't really know. Hey, Barry Donovan's asking about Scott Michaud. I don't really know much about Scott's playing. I know he is got a lot of chops just from videos, but I don't know his albums, right, or his like what his music's about or anything, right? So I don't know. Billy Strings, man, yeah, Billy Strings is a cool one, and this is also Scott's wanting to know stories about my granddad and his influence on me. It's kind of funny. That's kind of one and the same. When I think about Billy Strings, I definitely think about Doc Watson. Anybody doesn't know who Doc Watson is? You got to know about Doc Watson, Charlie Waller, like those kind of players. And their influence on guys like Billy, guys like me, like my granddad would have us all playing, those. So when I think about like what Billy does and how he navigates things, like even that's just Beaumont Rag, right? I think about like these kind of lines. That's kind of like origin point stuff. like East Tennessee Blues, all those kind of old bluegrass fiddle tunes. My granddad would have me and my cousin Brian, who's a great fiddle player. We would play those tunes, and it's kind of cool. It's like when we were kids, we were big into Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. And the only place that had those games when we were kids was a bowling alley. I grew up in North Carolina, and I guess I was probably about, 8 or 9 or 10, something like that. I don't know, somewhere in that range. And we didn't have a lot of money, right? So we didn't have a lot of games, get a gaming console would be a Christmas present, right? And that would be a big one, getting like Super Nintendo or something. But my granddad, if we learned a fiddle tune and we could play it, he would give us $5 each to go to the bowling alley to play Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or whatever. However long that $5 would last us is how long we could stay out there. And so that was like how I learned a lot of fiddle tunes. That's one of that $5 to go play video games. And it actually built up a pretty solid repertoire of tunes. Unfortunately, I don't get to play a lot of bluegrass very often. It's usually just an occasional jam here or there if I happen to be on a gig and another guy's a bluegrass player or whatever. And very common at the Opry, like when I go play the Grand Ole Opry. We're playing the Opry on the 4th, by the way. Everyone tune in. Tune into that Grand Ole Opry show on the 4th. Catch your boy up there playing some guitar. I'll be picking some guitars. When I'm at the Opry, you'll see like a Trey or a Jake. One of those cats, maybe Cody Kilby, some of those cats from McCurry Band. You might get to sneak in a little jam session pre-gig. I always take my mandolin just in case. Even if I'm not playing mandolin on the gig, I always take my mandolin to the Opry. Never know who's going to be back there hanging out. But Billy Strings, man, I love what Billy's doing. I tell you what makes it important is the fact that he's taking that music and he's taking it to people who don't know that music. Unfortunately, we in genres, as a guy who listens to a lot of different music, I notice that when I genre jump and I go to bluegrass circles, a lot of traditionalists only want it the way it was, right? Go to rock circles and a lot of rock guys don't want to hear about Brent Mason or Albert Lee. You know what I mean? A lot of jazz guys don't want to hear about Eddie Van Halen, right? Like it's not these barriers that we build up, a little bit of gatekeeping in the musical world for sure. And, what Billy's doing is Billy's tearing down those walls, man. He's taking that bluegrass Doc Watson thing and he's taking that banjo traditional sound, man, and he's blending it with some fun modern things and effects and flangers, whatever he wants to put on it. And he's taking that and it's getting to the Grateful Dead jam band fan base. I think that's amazing. Like, to watch Billy's growth from where he was 3 years ago to where he is now, oh man, it's so inspiring. It's so inspiring. And I applaud everything he's doing and how he's trying to break down those barriers. I love that. As a guy that tries to do that himself, I try to, expose people to different genres of music and, bluegrass artists who may not know who Alice in Chains songs, right? Like, hey, maybe they're going to go buy an Alice in Chains record now, or vice versa. How many metal kids I run around with that have never heard, Brent, and, it's like, man, the first time they hear Brent play Hot Wired or Pick It Apart or something, it's just like watching their face meat just fall off, They're like, how in the hell, because it's just so different. So some of that stuff's really, really, really cool. And again, I don't want to go too far off topic here. But man, Billy Strings, right? Y'all need to check out what he's doing. I specifically look up some video stuff. But yeah, Grampsy, man, I miss him every day. Michael's saying me and Brent, oh man, dude, too kind, man. I'm such a fan. I still am such a fan. I'm such a student. When people put me in sentences with those guys, I'm just like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. Just say thanks and just like, man, whatever. Bonamassa steals from everyone and admits to it. Hell yeah, he does. Because he's good. Shocker. Joe Bonamassa is a monster. I love to see anybody smack talking his play and get on stage with him. You're going to get cut to shreds. You're going to get cut to shreds. Bonamassa's the real deal. He's a real fan of music, and if he wasn't super famous, he would still be playing music at whatever local club he could get into, and he would still be buying whatever guitars he could get a hold of. Bonamassa is one of us, and a lot of people, he got so big that people kind of put him in a different echelon and think that, my favorite's like, oh, he's just copying Eric Johnson licks. Oh, he's just copying, Albert King or, whoever at the time, like whatever he's, and I'm just like, dude, y'all can't hang with him. I go to people's channel. Here's my favorite thing. This is really dark. I'm going to be really dark for a second. My favorite thing is to see some smack talk, like see some good trash talk on a Facebook thread or a social media thread, Twitter. Some guy telling one of my favorite players, like Joe, right? Telling them how, they're busted. Their playing's busted, or like it's a ripoff or whatever. Like just good trash talk. And I always go to their site or their page or their link. And I dig and dig and dig until I find some footage of them playing. Guess what? It ain't no good. It's never any good. The people with that big mouth, it's never any good. It's like you see the freak show players. Nathaniel Murphy. I don't know if y'all follow Nathan. I'm going to get him on the channel. Sean Tubbs. Like these guys are students and fans. I'm always like, I always tell Sean, I'm like, dude, you're my favorite guitar player. He's like, man, no. I'm just like, bro, yeah. That it's that thing where it's like learning music is like upside down pyramid. At the bottom, you don't think you have that much to learn. You're like, I'm going to go up fast. But the farther you go up in the upside down pyramid, the more there is that you haven't learned. Tommy Emmanuel, like that's a whole thing in and of itself. Guys like Mike Dawes and, Andy McKee, like that's a whole nother realm. It's crazy how much music there is out there. Igor's saying Spanky. Yeah, man, Spanky and Benson for sure. But that comes again. It's that quartet kind of thing, man. That was just jumping subjects really bad. Sorry. He was talking about quartet players. Chris Payton. Man, Chris, if you're watching this, love you, dude. Hope you're doing well. A lot of these guys I got to meet when I was doing some of those international guitar summits. Kevin Wilson had a thing. We would be going That's where I met Mark Lettieri. That's where me and Mark started our friendship. And man, I'm so blessed, man, to become friends with some of the greatest players on the planet, man. Dave Brandon saying Jubu. Yeah, man, Jubu Smith. If y'all don't know, get learned. Incredible. Like incredible. Understatement of the century. Jubu is incredible. Yeah. Yeah, man. Fit to Praise here in the house. Fit to Praise is saying, did you see the new Andy Timmons song that just dropped? Yeah, man. Actually, I had got a little sneak peek here and there. My boy A.T. and Josh Smith, man. It's like again, just bros, man. Lucky to be friends with these guys and do shows with these guys, man. Josh is just such a blessing, man. A.T. is a blessing. Like what they do to the guitar community. That's the only way you can word it. It's just we're all blessed that they're here on Earth while we're here on Earth at the same time. Like that's amazing. Song is funky. It's a departure from A.T.'s other albums, and I think that's super fun. I loved hearing how it sounded like it was cut on the floor. And he even said in the post, this was live in the studio. So I take that as like, man, they rolled that thing down and he ripped one. And that's it, man. That's what happened. Just rip a killer take, man. I love it. Jack Rush. Yeah, Jack is incredible. Nashville boy that's just playing his butt off right now. And killer stuff, man. It's approaching the witching hour. It's amazing how fast this stuff goes. Just a good old fashioned hang. Thanks to Vidami, you can see the logo right there on the screen. If you guys are having fun and you're having fun today and you want to keep this thing going, do me a favor, go check out that Vidami product. Again, it's an amazing tool that goes beyond just guitar. Being able to control your YouTube backing tracks, your DAW, like all the things. Pause. You can, like I used it on, like I said, just kind of messing around with it on Too Many Notes or whatever, just to stop the track and never have to take my hands off the guitar and could do something else and then start it back up. It's amazing. So if you're having fun and you want to keep this stuff going, be sure to check out Vidami. They're the ones bringing this hang to you. of course, there's Julian Lage, man. I'm just seeing y'all. I love seeing y'all like light up about players, man. It's so cool. Let's open the floor for a couple questions here. I'm going to open the... Yeah, Pete Thorne is a beast. Sean is saying it right here, man. Like, Sean knows. Like, Pete's another guy that will, like, aw shucks you. Like, I'll hit Pete up. Hey, man, what are you doing, man? Come to Woodshed. You know, man, I can't hang. I'm just like, what are you talking about? You can't. Like, he's like, oh, so humble. Oh, no. I'm just like, dude, Pete Thorne is a monster. Another guy. You'll find this. You'll find that there's a lot of humility at the top of the heap. And that's because when you've leveled up your playing and you've put in the 10,000 hours, 20,000 hours, whatever you want to call it, leveled up your playing to a point and you just look around. Some people call it like the air gets thin. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to call that thing. When you just look across the landscape and like you just look down the line and you're like Greg Koch, Julian Lage, Brian Sutton, Tom Bukovac, Eric Johnson, Steve Morse, and all of a sudden you realize the line of fantastic players is miles long. Like, it makes you humble. Like, you're just like, ugh, it's like a weight that sits on you. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a great thing. I also think, Pete's a monster. And like, I'm like, dude, you need to strut, bro. You are killing it. He's got great tone and great chops. And he is, be sure to go check out Pete on the road right now. Classic Rock, I think it's called the Classic Rock Show. And he's doing a tour, and it's killer, man. It's so good. And he's getting to play a bunch of Van Halen and like, you know, it's just that stuff that he murders. Like nobody plays with that kind of authenticity like he plays. And then when you hang out with him, he's just like the sweetest, most humble guy. It's really awesome. He's like when I always say he's like one of us. I always use that term. I feel like Sean's one of us and Pete's one of us, where it's like these guys, if they couldn't play, if they weren't 1% players, and that's the term it really comes down to, like, are you a 1%er? And those guys are 1%ers. If they weren't a 1% player, they would still love guitar and be doing it. And that's why they're so good. It's you see the video game guys get freakishly great at playing Halo. They love it. They do it. That's why they do it. And that's why they're good at it. You know, it's not something that's just handed out like that. And you know, it's great to have Sean in the room with us tonight. Sean, I'm gonna call you to get on this show. I think, hey, I'm gonna guilt him right now. Everybody want to see Sean on the channel. I'm gonna make Sean do an episode of the Woodshed with us. So I talked to him last week. I said, bro, what's it going to take to get you to do an episode? Just hang out. So, yeah. Bukovac, man, I see him going over here. Okay, let's get a couple of questions here. Got any cascading licks and minor keys? This one's for Barry. Barry, you're going to bring it home. Okay, this is the home stretch here. Barry wants cascading licks. One of the things that I look for in that cascading kind of thing. That's fine. That's enough gas right there. We got good camera angle here. Okay. Let's say what gear are we going to be in? What gear? Let's take I don't know, D minor. Let's take that kind of thing. Most important thing in these cascading licks is that you're not repeating the same amount of notes. A lot of people say, oh, play groups of 5. It's like play 6 tuplets. Like what? It loses the cascade feel if the same numeric is constantly regurgitated, right? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that gets predictable after you hear it. Like now it's time to mix it up, right? Does that make sense? So I'm just playing pentatonic notes. If we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, like that's how I would mix it up. Did you hear the stutter in there? I got to do it. I've kind of got to play it fast, just moderately fast. I can't do it too slow. That's not a good one. Like even adding another note, playing that 9. Right. Like that would be a good one. It's mixing up the bag. Another one would be like, you can also, if you're having trouble with the right hand, you can start with an upstroke. Right? Start with an upstroke. Maybe that's one, right? And the most important thing to me that's missed over, I'm going to hit that one more time. Mixing up the amount of notes that you're playing, not staying like this. 1, 2, 3. Or going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That gets really repetitive. And you lose that cascading waterfall thing. It's all about mixing up the amount of notes. That'd be a really cool one, right? So the most important thing about this is to rev up. I always call it revving up into it, right? So you're going to like lead the note. You're not just going to start on a downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. That's not the thing. If you notice a lot of those guys like, and it's like got this like bend into it. Like that kind of thing. Just something to lead the notes. Like that kind of thing too will make it kind of cascade better. That's a nice 9. Let me get the 9 out of there. You notice on that one I went back up. Like mixing up that note amount and not saying that you're always going to play the same groove. And here's an unfortunate thing that I see on YouTube, which is when it comes to these cascading things, it's always like play groups of this, play groups of this, play groups of this. And they're giving you exercises. And when those exercises are played, they don't have that authenticity because none of those guys play consistently the same note grouping all the time. Just like listen to Eric Johnson. Like he's not consistently staying in that same grouping. He's constantly mixing it up. That's probably the most important thing to the cascade. Not the dishwashing detergent, by the way. The next thing that I would look at is, do you know your positions all the way down the neck to where you're not going like this and you're having to stop. You need to be able to go. And everything's connected. Like those are interesting ones right there that most people don't really dig into. That'd be like getting back to the minor pentatonic box where you're starting it up here, kind of starting it not in the standard shape 1 kind of thing. And it's just being able to super glue all this stuff together by knowing the minor pentatonic scale across the guitar. That's a really important thing, is like looking at like that's the knowledge you need. You need a left and right knowledge to do this stuff, not chunks. I'm not a fan of the chunk style. Learn it in this shape, then stop and reset. Now learn it in the shape that's like there, then stop it. No, that's not the answer. The answer to me has always been being able to look at the neck all the way down. Like that's a full line just on the middle string, right? And it sounded nice and musical. Knowing where your chord tones are. like without having to do this thing. This is an example of the bad thing. When I tell players to play, as students of mine, I'll tell them to play on one string. They'll always play the note that's right next to it that they can see. They rarely will go like that kind of thing. We're jumping all over. Maybe this one. It'll be the same thing on a different string, right? Let's see what'll be another one. Coming from here all the way down to there without doing this thing. Because that's the easy way to do it. Yeah. That's a different kind of tonality. But that knowledge of watching the string set go down and connect is what helps you do all the... That'd be like one that kind of circled the neck that way, right? Kind of looking at... Right. So, yeah, I hope that helps you out and kind of aims you in a direction for your practice. Hope everyone had a good time this week. Thanks to Vidami one more time. This is the device right here, the Vidami Blue. They have one with a cord. This one is Bluetooth, which is awesome. They do make one with a cord, plug into the back of your computer, USB. It's really killer. If you guys enjoyed the hang, be sure to go check them out. A little bit of housekeeping here. I always say this. Be sure to go sign up for my email list on my website, andywoodmusic.com. If y'all wouldn't mind, go swing by and just sign up for that. I don't send spam. Like, I'm not sending you deals on keychains or nothing like that. Basically, it's just a way that when I announce tour dates, new albums, stuff like that, it goes straight to you in case you don't want to be on Facebook or whatever platform, Instagram or whatever. It's just a direct line of communication, which is really great. The other thing is, if you're looking for lessons, man, come to my Patreon. That's patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. 3 things take note of over there. Hundreds of videos. I think we're well above 300 videos now over there. And item number 2, if you're at the combo amp tier, that is a weekly live Zoom masterclass, Q&A. It's like this, but focused only on chops, and music industry stuff. Number 3, if you sign up as a Monster member, you get a 30-minute lesson with me a month. That's reserved for our Monster members, but it's really cool. I don't know how long I'm going to be keeping that going. Just because, who knows? If it gets flooded, I only have so much time in the day. But as of right now, Monster members get a 30-minute lesson with me. So if you're interested in improving your playing, go hit that up. If you don't want to learn anything else about guitar and you just want to play Xbox, just message me. We'll play some Xbox. Talk about cars. Man, what a weekend of football. Can't wait to see what's next. I think that was the greatest football weekend ever. Like in my life, as far as a playoff weekend. Unbelievable. Congrats to all the teams, man. Incredible stuff. Once again, thanks to Vidami. Thank you guys for hanging out over here in the chat. Man, a lot of viewers, a lot of good hangs. And thanks to those in Super Chat for throwing some beer money at me. I appreciate you guys so much. Seriously. Y'all putting your hard-earned American dollar papers in the tip jar. I appreciate that. I really do. And, we're going to do this next week. We're going to do it same bat time, same bat channel. So, all right. Cheers, everyone. And, everyone have a great week. To my Woodshed Patreon members, I'll see you Wednesday, tomorrow night. I'll see y'all tomorrow night for our masterclass. It's going to be a good time. All right, everyone. Let's take care of ourselves and be safe out there. And,